All right, let's talk about the morning session for Luigi Mangione's day 2 of his evidentiary hearing, where we'll learn what evidence will be allowed in his trial. He seemed a little tired today, but he was definitely paying attention, taking notes. He was looking the officer straight in the face while he was testifying. We saw another video of the shooting, same video, we watched it again. Mangione still had no reaction. Now let's talk about the officer on the stand. Officer Joseph Dettweiler, he was one of 2 people to respond to that 911 operator's request to go check out the McDonald's. You can hear on the call he's a bit sarcastic. He said he didn't think that this was possibly their guy. At one point a colleague texts him and says, "If you get the NYC shooter, I'll buy you a hoagie," and he said, "Consider it done." He said when he walked into the McDonald's, he walked past Mangione first to see if he had any reaction, and he didn't really. So he approaches him and asks him his name. He says it's Mark Rosario, which we know is not his name, and he asks him to take down his mask. He said as soon as he did that, he immediately knew this was the guy they had been looking for. He had seen his image plastered across Fox News. And when he does that, he asks for his ID, says he just needs to run it, and kept it very simple and calm, but he does pat him down, and he says, "You seem nervous. Why are you nervous?" And he later told another officer that Mangione's fingers were shaking. So the entire time they are running this ID, which, by the way, there's a blown-up poster of it next to the officer who is testifying, the officer is trying to keep him calm. Jingle Bell Rock is playing on the loudspeaker. The officer is whistling. They ask simple questions. How long have you been here? Mangione says 40 minutes. He said, "Oh, that's a long time. Usually if people are there this long, we get called in," which is not true. He was just trying to keep him calm. Mangione tells him that he's homeless. Mangione asks him what he should do better next time. The officer said, "Maybe don't stay here for so long." Eventually come back and tell him that his ID is fake and that if he gives a fake name again, then he's going to be arrested. So he gives his real name, his middle name, his date of birth, all incredibly calmly. He's asked by 2 officers why he gave a fake ID, and he said, "I clearly shouldn't have." And then he is asked if it was a fake ID. He nods yes, and at that point, he is read his Miranda warnings, and he's asked if he understands, and he says, "Yes, sir." He's then asked if he wants to talk. He said he was told he was not in custody at this point. He doesn't really talk, and then a couple of seconds later, they say, "You're under official police investigation. Anything you say can be used against you." And then what I found to be incredibly eerie, his hands are put up against the wall. He is handcuffed while the song "I'll Be Home for Christmas" is playing in the background. It is completely silent, even though there are more than half of a dozen officers there. And you can hear the line, "I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams," blaring across the speaker. And they do decide to arrest him for the false ID. He's patted down again, and this time Officer Dettweiler finds a blue and white wallet that he said had a lot of cash in there, including foreign currency. Another officer finds a piece of paper that is folded up. We don't know what it said. Holly Jolly Christmas is playing, and at this point you can see in the background that his backpack is being searched. That's at the center of all of this, so we'll likely learn more about that when we get back from lunch.